I'm just telling my...
Vas-y, c'est parti.
10, 9, ignition sequence start.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Got Spouse Need House. My name is Loretta Sternowski. I'm the CEO and founder of Got Spouse Need House. And in case you're wondering, what the heck is Got Spouse Need House, especially if you are getting a spouse, that's just the point of it. Then you will need a house or maybe sell one. We run into lots of people who they're at a point in their lives where each person has a property and they want to move in and buy a new property together, because everyone knows it's a smart romantic decision to start with a brand new house and not live in your ex's house. Anyways, what we do is we have a team of specialized realtors that work with newlyweds and engaged couples. And when you are ready to make that real estate transaction, we guide you through it. And at the end of it, we give you a 10% credit on closing. We also have a lender partner, Jeff Williamson from Fairway Mortgage and John from WFG, and they are nationwide, and they will also give you discounts on their services too. So in term of your wedding, we have this podcast as a resource for you to have people that are experts in their field. And today we have hairstylist. I don't know if that's the right word to use.
Yeah, hair and makeup artist.
Hair and makeup artist. That sounds better than hairstylist.
Either works.
Amy is from New York. We had a little bit of a conversation just before we started. Of course, we were talking about the heat. Not everyone's in hot, but how'd you get started in hairstyling, and what drew you specifically to the bridal aspect?
Yeah, so I've been doing bridal I do both hair and makeup, which is sort of rare. We're called combo artists, but I do both. And I've been doing it for like around 17 years now in New York, which is chaos in itself. But I have a kind of funny path to it. I was formerly a professional Latin ballroom dancer, like in my 20s. And I was always that friend in high school who really loved beauty, who loved, was always doing everyone's hair. And then, and so when I was doing competitions dancing, I was like, wow, I really like this. I was already doing everyone's hair and makeup for these competitions. And if you've ever watched Dancing with the Stars, you got to wear a lot of hair and makeup for those. And I knew I didn't want to dance for the rest of my life. So I was like, I really like this. So I went back to school for it. And then started from there. I started apprenticing people, and then started my own business with it. And it's been a long, very fun journey. But bridal here, obviously in New York City, is very big, and so it was kind of, I do everything. I do fashion, editorial, TV, film, but specifically bridal in New York can be very lucrative. And it was it's just it's fun to be a part of someone's day. I find it really creative, especially with hair. It's kind of like sculpting, depending on the style. So that's the brief answer of how I got here.
And I got to ask this question because it's on the tip of my. So are you close to that? Isn't that wedding the one from Say Yes to the Dress? Isn't that store there?
Kleinfeld's, yeah. I do have I have a lot of brides who get their dresses at Kleinfeld's. Yeah, I've been in there when they're shooting. I've had friends, try on dresses there. It's a circus.
Right, I'm sure that show is so addicting, though. I love it.
It's totally addicting. Yeah.
So, can you share with us what the most popular hairstyles are for this season?
Yeah. So this year, there's always like two different categories every year or every couple years. Like one is kind of the traditional that never goes out of style, which would be like the low bun or a half up. And then there's something that's a little more trendy and on par, like in the late 2000s, it was the side bun that I endless side buns, but those went out of style. And so now it's the glam wave, and versions of the glam wave, which if you're not familiar with what a glam wave is, it's basically like a vintage Hollywood wave.
Love that.
Yeah, they're so beautiful. They're one of my favorites. And there's now, this year, there's been different versions of it. I found a lot of my clients like a kind of softer glam wave. They like it a little pieced apart. Whereas the traditional glam wave is very uniform, and is supposed to, just kind of stay in place. But I'm seeing a lot more of kind of contemporary versions of it, maybe not as much volume. Maybe it's a little softer around the edges. But that's what's been pretty popular for the past couple years. And then I always still get the really great, classic low bun, very beachy wave, half up. Those have been a consistent for, as long as I've been doing this, which is close to 20 years now. And so, yeah, those are basically what's in this year. It really just depends on the bride style.
Yeah.
Also, there's the sleek look is pretty popular this year too. Like really sleek, almost like wet looking. I hate to reference Kim Kardashian, but that's a lot of a lot of my brides, bring her in. She's got a good hairstylist. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what's in this season.
So the glam wave, how do you create that?
Yeah, it's a specific type of set. And you do have to have a specific type of hair for it. I think a lot of people think anyone can have a glam wave, but your hair has got to be able to hold a wave. If your hair really doesn't hold curl, I wouldn't quite suggest it. But it's a specific type of set, which a set would just be like little pin curls, kind of rollers. It's a very specific type of twisting. And then you start from the bottom up, and then you kind of brush it out until they're all even. And then style it accordingly. There's a lot of technique to it. It's actually a pretty technical hairstyle. But, yeah. I love it. I love vintage. So yeah, I learned how to do that one pretty early on.
And it probably looks better on blondes, right? Does it? Or
well, this is the thing. That looks good on anyone in person. Blondes obviously photograph a little better because you can see some of the texture in the hair. But what I usually suggest is if you have darker hair and want a glam wave, throw like a pin in it, throw like a clip or something, sparkly, because that pops more in brunettes in darker hair than it would on someone who's blonde. So you got the, either end there, but you definitely can see them if you have darker hair.
Okay. So you get up on your wedding day. What should you do with your hair before they come to see?
Yeah, it depends on what the style is. So usually this is what I suggest. If you're doing updos, I need the hair dry and clean. A lot of people think the dirty hair thing helps hair stay, but it really doesn't. You're going to hear different opinions on this. Back in the day, it did sort of help, but now there is so much availability of product to create texture in the hair that if you've just come from like a spin class, I can't I can't work with the amount of oil in your hair. It's actually going to make it pretty flat. So I always say come in with clean, dry hair. Also a really good tip that I like to suggest, if you do have a rehearsal dinner, this is going to depend on the type of texture you have, but if you have a rehearsal dinner, go get it blown out the day before, because it's going to kind of smooth everything out, and then you're going to come to me with like really nice texture, and it's actually going to save me some time, that I don't have to blow it out. And
you wash it then or no?
You would wash it. They would wash it for you. Like go to a dry bar or wherever, anywhere. They would wash it for you and just leave it. And so then it's just clean and dry the next day. I wouldn't wash it again. Yeah. But if you don't have that option, then, just come with it clean and dry. Again, this is going to depend on what style you're doing.
Right.
But that's usually a good general rule of thumb.
Makes sense. Do you have your go-to products that are like your favorite for doing bridal styles?
Yeah, I do. For it again depends on what I'm doing. I love Biolage. They're a Matrix brand. They have a really good heat setting spray that also can work as a almost like a gel. It's not too sticky. I love Orbea Matte Waves. It's actually not too matte. But it's great for any beachy wave, any kind of down style. It really holds. It's a little more expensive of a brand. Who else do I use? Sebastian. There's lots of different brands I use. It just depends on the person's texture and what their hair wants to work with.
So do you say you should take this little hairspray with you, or whatever for the wedding?
Yeah, sometimes I give a touch-up kit that has like a little bit of makeup and things in it, and sometimes I put a tiny little like travel hairspray in it. Just in case, because it also depends on what time of year your wedding is.
Yeah.
It's like right now it's like super humid here in New York.
Yeah.
So you probably want something up, so you don't have to worry about frizz. But yeah, I like to give a little hairspray just in case.
So if someone comes to you, wants to get their hair done for the wedding, they have no idea how they should do their hair. What do you do?
Yeah, so I suggest obviously doing a trial if that's the case. If you can do a trial, I do have some. Here we get a lot of elopement brides as well, who from different countries who may not have time or be here to do a trial, which is fine as well. But if you can do a trial, I absolutely suggest that. I would. What was the initial question? Because there's a lot to this.
So someone comes to you and they say, I want you to do my hair for my wedding day, but they have no idea what they want.
So if they have no idea what they want, obviously go through lots of photos on Google, Pinterest. You don't have to pick something from the artist's portfolio necessarily. Gather a lot of inspiration, and something that's going to make you feel like you, and try to separate seeing a very photoshopped photo and on a model that is completely styled and what it'll look like on you. So you kind of have to go in with an open mind with it. Obviously, what I find is people will show me their Pinterest page and they end up posting very similar, the same thing, even if they don't know what they want. So they come into the trial, I'll say, okay, show me your inspirations. And then just from experience, I'm like, okay, well, you posted a low bun about 5 times in here. Obviously, I think your eye is attracted to that look. They may have other styles in it. So let's maybe try that because your gut is telling you, maybe I want a low bun.
Right.
But definitely in the trial, if you can try more, at least 1 to 2 styles. The more styles you do, the messier the hair gets because you have to set the hair according to where the style is going. But I've definitely had brides be, show me something like a half up and they're like, this is what I want. This is what I've always dreamed of. And then they see it on themselves, which is why we do a trial, see it on themselves. And they're like, oh, that's not what I thought that looked like on me. I never wear my hair in a half up. And then I'm like, okay, great. Well, let's try something else then. Let's do a second one. And then we find it on the, second style or something like that. So it's very important to at least go into the trial with something sort of narrowed because it makes our job a little easier. I can't make the decision for you. But usually people come in with, 1 or 2 styles that they've narrowed in on.
Yeah, I'm sure. And have you ever said to someone, no, that's not going to look good on you or not going to work?
I'll never say something doesn't look good because really it has to do, this is almost like 99.9% of the time, people end up choosing where they feel like themselves. And so if they feel like themselves with their hair down with waves, great. I'm not gonna say if it's ugly or not. My goal is to make you feel like yourself, just way more glamorous. Right. So my goal is finding that. Now I definitely have people come in and with like a bob and want a full updo, and then I have to say you don't have enough hair. Like technically, right. I can't do this. So there's times I've had to say that, but in general, my goal is always just to find where they feel like themselves, because anytime, almost 100% of the time, that I do something that they thought they wanted or have dreamed about, and they're never used to wearing their hair up, they're always going to not like it. And so really the key is finding something that you're used to seeing yourself in and that you feel good in.
What about the dress? How much does that take into account your advice to them? Do you say, can you show me a picture of your dress? Do they bring the dress in?
No, you don't need to bring the dress in. I just need to see photos of it. By the time they're doing a trial, they usually don't have the dress because they have to do alterations and everything. Okay. But you know, they've found it. Sometimes they haven't found it yet, but usually it's best if you found your dress already, because it takes so long for them to make it and get it. But just showing me photos, I just need to see the neckline. I just need to see kind of what your inspirations are. Some people have a low back, and so they want to show the low back, you know, part of the dress. So they want their hair up. It really just depends on what the dress is doing. And
right.
Yeah, and I can kind of guide it from there.
So that you talked about the hair trial, is that people do that all the time? Is it super important?
Yeah, that's a normal thing. At least here in New York it is. And I absolutely suggest doing it. You usually do it about 3 months before. But we get booked up very fast. Like I'm already booked next year. So right. Some people book me first and then do the trial close to their wedding, or, you know, they want to do the trial first, see if it's a good match, and then they'll book. So sooner than later, but I'm going to say around 6 months, 6 to 3 months, is usually when people do their trial before their wedding.
Oh, wow. So quite a ways before.
Yeah. Earlier the better, if you can do it. So definitely suggest it, because as I mentioned before, things you maybe thought might look good on you might not like, or, you know, there's a lot of factors that come into play. You also just want to see if you click with the artist as well. It's a two-way street with us. I want to see if I want to work with you. If you're a nightmare, I don't want your business. But usually, you know, it's not worth my time. But usually everyone's, you know, I attract lovely people. And you also want to, you know, we're there in the morning. We're the first people to show up. So you want to be sure that I'm going to keep you calm on a really stressful day. And
sure.
And be able to execute the look you want. So
right. I know you mentioned about if someone has a bob, what do you suggest for girls who have shorter hair or thinner hair? What is a good hairstyle?
Yeah, if it's definitely shorter, depends on how short. There's obviously sort of limited options you can do, but there's so many different types of waves and curls you can do. It really depends on your style. Obviously, you can use extensions if you want to suddenly grow hair. You can use a full head of extensions if you want a full style. There's also ways of, if you have shorter hair and want an updo, I can add just a few extensions or a donut, which is like the spongy circle. There's ways to make more hair depending on your length to create an updo. So there's technique around it, but it depends on how short and how much hair you have. If you want volume, definitely get extensions, but ask your hairstylist first, because they'll know.
And can you share with us like a memorable styling experience or your favorite hairstyle that you did?
God, oh my God, I've done thousands of weddings at this point. I've done so many weddings. There was one many years ago that always comes to mind, and she did a full 1920s wedding, which was really fun. And so she wanted like the really exact finger wave. She had shorter hair, and we did it, and it was very sculpted. And I love vintage style, so that was right up my alley. So that's probably one of my favorite ones, just creatively for me. But they went full out like 1920s wedding. So it's pretty cool.
That's great. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So for people who want to reach you or check out your styles that you've done, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, my business name's under Amy Klewitz Beauty. I also have a lifestyle page under amy.klee. But if you want hair and makeup, check out Amy Klewitz Beauty. AK Beauty Bridal is the wedding name, but that'll be also on that Instagram page. But website's www.amyklewitzbeauty.com. And yeah, that's how you find me, or Instagram, any of the socials.
Super. For anyone watching on the recording, we will post all her contact information so you can get in touch with her. Once again, this is Loretta Stronowski with Got Spouse Need House. We are a company that specializes in working with newlyweds and engaged couples. And when you're ready to go through that real estate transaction, we are here to help you, provide resources for you, and also give you a 10% credit on closing, as well as the lender and the title company will help you. In the meantime, happy wedding planning or happy life, and we will see you next week. Thanks again, Amy.
Thank you so much.
Have a great weekend.
You too.